This week on Storytime at the Roo Bus, I'm telling you some of my picks for 2026, and we've got some Christmas gift suggestions as well. Welcome to Storytime at the Roo Bus, a weekly podcast about Bonnaroo and other festivals. I'm your host, Sharla.
What's up, y'all? It's Daniel, and I hope you're having a great holiday season. It's a little bit of a different one this year since we actually have a lineup and a bunch of playlists that we can listen to while we're doing our holiday stuff.
Right. We typically don't have the lineup until January, but it did come out early this year. So Bonnaroo Santa, or Rufus, I would say.
Rufus, definitely Rufus.
Rufus dropped us a little present under the tree.
You're supposed to leave him a wine bag and some goodies out before the lineup drops. So he said. But anyways, yeah, for people that are new to the Roo community, we typically got the lineup around the first week or so of January in the past. So this is all a little bit new to us. It is a little odd, like having a lot of these songs to listen to as opposed to Christmas music this year. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. I actually looked it up today, and the lineup dropped on January the 8th of 2025, the 2025 lineup.
2 lineups in a year.
True. So it was almost about a whole month early.
Yeah.
About a full month.
It has been a little weird talking about 2026 when we're not even in it yet. This is all a little bit of new territory to us. I think, as you have probably heard, there are going to be a handful of things that are new to Roo this year. So, for example, that tent moving into the what field. I haven't gotten your take on that. What do you think about that?
It's fine with me. I do agree that it will clear up a lot of the cluster right there inside of Centeroo, because when you try to walk, especially by that tent, or when you're watching a show and everyone's spilling out into the road, it can get so congested right there, especially with, golf carts having to drive back and forth and everything else. It can get really congested right there. So I think it will clear up some of that congestion. What about you? What's your thoughts?
At first, I didn't think I was a big fan of the idea. It's one of those things where it's like, hey, why are you moving around things in my backyard? It feels like our backyard at this point. I could probably walk around Centeroo blindfolded and know where most things are. So moving a major feature to a location that's never been is something that kind of messed with my head a little bit when I first started thinking about it. But the more I think about it and the more I consider what Corey talked about on the podcast last week, it makes a lot of sense. For them, it makes a lot of sense in terms of load in. And if we are going to have a purposefully lower capacity this year, then yeah, that field probably should be utilized more. But my big question is, what's going to go in the place where that tent was? That will be a lot of space, and I think it will just be weird for it to be underutilized. And I really don't want them to use it for some sort of corporate sponsor. I know that's a necessary evil these days, but I want it to be something fun. When we talked to them, it sounded like they didn't really have a firm grasp on what it might be just yet.
Well, they did mention some options from what I recall. One of the options was moving the VIP tent over there, I believe. Yeah. But those are still just, in the beginning stages of ideas right now.
What would you want to put there if you could pick anything? What do you think?
You don't want to hear my answer.
I kind of do, actually.
I would bring back Calliope and put it somewhere. But
maybe
that's not realistic. So my answers are not going to be realistic.
I had something come to mind that would be cool to bring back. We're bringing back a lot of the old things this year. So like Bonnaroo Radio and a couple of other little things. Bring back the Sonic Forest. Put it over there. There was a whole Aziz Ansari bit about that when he visited Bonnaroo. You should just go listen to his little bit. Just look it up on YouTube. You'll find it.
Actually, look it up on Spotify. It's very easy to find there.
Is it on Spotify? That whole bit was in one of his stand-up specials?
It's like a little clip on Spotify.
Oh, okay. But yeah, why not bring that back? To be honest, I don't know what should go there, but I do know I want it to be something fun. Calliope is not a bad idea, because what if, theoretically, they could bring back like Big Red, and that's kind of like the Walter Garage over there. I know that's probably out of the question.
Yeah, it's not coming back.
I know. It's a logistical pain for a lot of people. I get it.
But I will tell you this. If you guys loved Calliope, if you absolutely loved dancing at Calliope at 5 a.m. with if you just love that experience, let me put you on. There's this little festival in the desert.
Oh, well, they go there every year, yeah. I will say, though, after me and Brooklyn went down to Halloween, I loved the idea of bringing in artists to do installations. I have said for a couple of years, I feel like the Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival has been very light on the arts part in like the past 10 or so years. There's cool things here and there, but it doesn't feel like the art part has a big presence. When I saw that down in Halloween, I was like, oh man.
I do think a lot of people have said that there needs to be more art at Bonnaroo, especially compared to what's at Hula, what's at Electric Forest,
Yeah.
what's at Oki. Like, there definitely needs to be more art. I mean, we previously had the bobbleheads, we had things like that inside Century. So I think a lot of people would agree with that. Going back to what I said about Calliope, it was so funny. I saw a comment somewhere, and I don't know where I saw it, but it was somewhere on the internet. Someone was complaining about Where in the Woods being gone. And then someone came in and said, you don't even know Calliope or something like that. Like, you don't even remember. You don't know
children.
You children.
Yeah.
So it was hilarious.
Man, for those of you that weren't there in the Calliope days, it was unhinged some nights. You wouldn't necessarily know even who was playing on top of there, but you just went for the vibes. People were in insane, crazy costumes. There was like fire coming out of the top of it, basically Burning Man, I suppose.
So going back, I want to hear your take about them moving the UFO stage from Where in the Woods inside Centeroo.
I think that's a good call. I think what we have had in Where in the Woods has been great. Obviously, we co-hosted a thing with Cherub there a couple of years, and that was fantastic. But I think the whole thing with Alice in Wonderland the year before last, I suppose, kind of showed that it wasn't built for like a large capacity crowd. For those of you that don't remember or weren't there, didn't hear the stories, or if you're new to the Bonnaroo community, basically what happened is Alice in Wonderland was playing the afters on Sunday night after the headliner was done. I don't even remember who it was, but somebody's, putting a comment in the YouTube thing right now, I suppose, trying to remind me who it was. But anyways, we didn't go. We went back to the bus for something we were doing with friends. But I heard through so many people who were there that it was massively overcrowded and there were problems with people being pushed against the gate. So it was a safety issue. Even if they had smaller artists play there, year after year, I think eventually you run into those kind of problems at some point. So moving that UFO stage, which I do think is very cool, and last time we saw it, it actually like lifted off. I really like that.
Yeah,
it went
that
up
was
in the
really,
air.
really super cool.
It didn't do that the first time it was there.
And, I agree with you, Daniel. And it was kind of, I felt Bonnaroo had a damned if we do, damned if we don't kind of thing right there, because, a lot of people were upset about them moving that UFO stage. A lot of people were upset last year when they were going to have much smaller artists, at Where in the Woods on the UFO stage. So you're never really going to please everyone.
Yeah. If you put somebody like It's Murph or Disco Lines, two artists that I recently saw down at Halloween, if you put them in there, it's going to be an Alice in Wonderland situation again. So moving the UFO stage to the inside where the stage that shall not be named was, I'm going to keep poking fun about that, I think is a good call. I think it will bring the Calliope vibes. It will be a good space that, the Infinity stage, I named it, sorry, actually was. It was tricky for it being in that back corner, but I think if you put that UFO in that back corner and point it outwards where there's not sound bleed against the other things, you want to make sure that there's not sound bleed with the Witch stage, which is tricky. I understand that's a problem. But if you point it away from that, yes, I think that's a perfect scenario.
So just to confirm, as of right now, the UFO stage is going where the Infinity stage was.
Yeah. And for veterans, it's been other things over the years. Back in the day, it was the comedy and or cinema tent. The Who stage went there at one point. That little corner back there has seen the most change over the years, if you think about it. And I apologize in advance to those of you that are in Area 931 that are going to be literally right next to all this. It's going to be loud for y'all.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I could not. I've always said Bonnaroo needs a quiet camping area.
Not a bad idea. I don't know where it would be.
Yeah, but anyways.
I want to get your take on the lineup. So when we did the whole big episode when the lineup dropped, me and you didn't really talk about it. I talked about it on the bonus YouTube thing that I did with that whole crew. But when we were hosting that episode and all the interviews, we were just talking, very lightly, not doing a deep dive. So I think it's time we did Sharla's deep dive on the lineup and hear what are your must-sees.
Sure, of course. Well, I don't really want to go into a deep dive because I'm not as much of a musical person as everyone else is, as everyone listening to this is, as you are, et cetera, and so forth. I go to Bonnaroo to see my friends from around the world, for the community experiences, for the things in Outeroo. So I'm not a giant musical person, I guess.
Yeah. The headliners are the friends we made along the way.
Right?
Yeah.
But I'll go ahead and start with Saturday. Wyatt Flores. Flores, I think is how you pronounce it. Wyatt Flores. I've actually been listening to him for a while. I think, and don't quote me on this, I think he was actually at Bonnaroo like a couple of years ago on the Who stage. So for him to be that big in the lineup, it's really super cool. He is like an alt country, but almost like a Noah Kahan type of vibe.
Really?
Yes, and I really like him a lot. I would start, if you're going to listen to him, I would start with a song called Welcome to the Plains.
All right.
So now he's not to be confused with someone else playing on Saturday, Waylon Wyatt. Now, Waylon Wyatt is a country artist. I guess he's technically alt country, but his sound is definitely more, to me, it's definitely more of a bro country sound. So it's definitely got that more almost traditional bro country type of sound to it. Also, someone else on Saturday, Trixie Mattel.
No, I know all about
I'm sure
this.
that everyone else has mentioned Trixie Mattel, but I am so excited. I've been listening to Trixie Mattel for like years and years now, and it's actually going to be a DJ set, so I'm really excited to see how that's going to work out. I haven't Googled any videos or looked up anything, but I'm very excited to see how that's going to work out.
So I have a question. You are probably more knowledgeable about this than me, and I should be more knowledgeable. Trixie Mattel, I feel like is doing two different genres because I have heard some songs crop up on my playlist where it sounds kind of like contemporary country.
Yes.
But then we're getting a DJ set from Trixie.
Right.
So a little bit more in line with what you would think from a drag queen.
Don't know much about Trixie's DJ set, so like I said, I'm excited to see what it is, and I don't want to spoil it for myself. So,
well, this is like a buy one get one free because you get like both type of genres in theory. I'm curious if that might be the situation.
Well, it sounds like it's just going to be it said Trixie Mattel DJ, or it said DJ Trixie Mattel on the lineup, so it sounds like she's not going to be doing her traditional music.
That would be a good set for the House of Yes, though.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, you gotta now, imagine some talks are happening.
There was actually a show where Trixie was opening a hotel, and I actually watched a season or two of it. I think it came on HBO, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was so good. It's so good.
Okay, I'll take a look. What else you got?
Obviously, Kesha.
I want to be in the pit for Kesha. I'm so excited about that.
Clearly. I did forget to mention, can we go back to Friday? I totally forgot to mention Lil Jon.
Now, you have a history with this. You have gone with a lot of our crew to these hip hop or R&B throwback sets. What was the one y'all went to a couple of years ago? Was it Sean Paul?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was so much fun.
I was at another show with Andrew, but I heard a lot of stories from that.
That was so much fun and exciting. And what made that fun, and this is no disrespect to the artist, but it wasn't necessarily the performance. It was just dancing with my friends.
Yeah.
Like, it was so cool and so much fun.
That's going to be like that with Lil Jon and Kesha. I think a lot of our crew is going to come with us to those. I have been starting to look at YouTube videos from like other festivals to see what these artists do. I don't want to completely spoil it for myself, but Kesha, I'm very excited to see. Her set list does something a little bit different, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody that doesn't want to look at these. Like, I'm trying not to, but obviously have. And Lil Jon, I would say he's going to be more on the level with what T-Pain was not too long ago. JB can tell us all about that. He was on the rail and became best friends with T-Pain, Jables. But I think that's what to expect out of that. And yes, I am going to be right up front for both of those shows with you and our crew. But tell us the rest here.
Okay, on Sunday, I don't know if anyone has mentioned Trombone Shorty and Orleans Avenue.
Not much. They're great.
Like a legendary act right there. Go see them. You will not be disappointed.
I feel like they are one of the best Bonnaroo legacy acts that we're getting this year because like Trombone Shorty goes way back on many old school Rude lineups. I know he was on the first one that we went to back in 2013.
So I'm also excited about Spacey Jane.
Yes, I was talking about that.
Been listening to Spacey Jane for years now.
Yeah, you introduced me to that band. I think you were looking it up on Spotify, and you're like, hey, this is a cool name for obvious reasons. And I got into them as well. I saw that they played Nashville not too long ago, maybe a couple of months ago, and we had a couple of friends over there, and I saw a little bit of what they do live. It looks fun. I'm going to be at that one with you as well.
You know, I'm also excited for probably going to be my number one of the whole weekend, Goldie Boutelier.
You were hyping her up last year, and I know you were bummed that we didn't get her because of the rain. When I looked at the lineup for the first time, that name popped out to me, and I'm like, oh, thank God. I know Sharla wanted to see her really bad.
Goldie Boutillier, the best way I can describe her music, it is a more mature Sabrina Carpenter.
I mean, not to say she isn't.
No,
Yeah.
but it's a more mature Sabrina Carpenter, maybe for like an age that's a little bit older. Goldie Boutillier actually started years ago under like her original name, and then she lost the rights to use that or something. And then for years, she actually DJ'd under the name Goldilocks.
I didn't know that part.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then she's recently, within the past few years, came back as Goldie Boutillier. And I would definitely recommend checking her out if you do kind of like that. It's kind of like Sabrina Carpenter without the pop. It's more of like, I mean, she is still like soft pop, but maybe like a little bit jazzy almost. It's very, very good. She is actually playing in February, at the end of February in Nashville, but we'll be out of town because I was going to get tickets, but we'll be out of town.
Well, you'll see her at Bonnaroo.
Oh, well, will I?
Yes. No more plagues this year. But you have played some of her tracks in the car, and she kind of actually, in a small way, reminds me of Amy Winehouse. The
I
same
can see
kind
that, yes,
of sultry retro vibes a
Well,
little
she
bit.
is actually from Canada, but when she was like 18, she actually moved to the UK for her career. So I could definitely see where you get that at.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just like a tinge, yeah.
Yeah, the same kind of like lane and genre.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are those your picks? Anything else? Any wild cards? What headliner are you most excited for?
Probably Rufus.
Yeah, you'll have a good time with
Yeah,
that.
because I think it's just going to be like a super fun show.
You and I saw Rufus briefly for like about a half hour the last time they were at Bonnaroo, at that tent, coincidentally enough. They're never leaving that tent. They're going to be right in front of it this time. And we had a great time with our crew that went for Brooklyn's birthday when they played Nashville back in May. I am very excited. That show that you and I saw with our friends when Queen Bubbles came by that night is a core Bonnaroo memory for me. And I really do feel like their type of music and what they do on stage with like lasers and lights and all kind of crazy things is pretty custom fit for Rue. I think it is going to be a fun night for a lot of people and a core memory that they have for a long time as well.
Absolutely.
I'm really looking forward to the Skrillex show too. We haven't seen him since
yeah,
2014. And in fact, you never saw Skrillex. I'm just now remembering this story. So 2014, let's go way back. I don't remember who we saw prior to that. It may have been Vampire Weekend and then Phoenix. But we went back to camp and, we just kind of want to get a snack before we went back in. It wasn't a super far
Yeah,
walk.
long story short, I went in there and passed out.
Yeah. I put on a Spider-Man suit and I was like, hey, babe, I'm going to go see Skrillex. Everybody's talking about him. I'm going to go check this out. And I go in and he's on a spaceship and there's a countdown and all kind of crazy things. Place was popping off. And I apologize to whoever I stepped on 11 or 12 years ago. If you saw a Spider-Man with a Rue bandana on, that was me. And I'm sorry I stepped on you because I couldn't see very well outside of that thing. I had the mask on and everything.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. But yeah, you missed Skrillex. So this will be your first time to see Skrillex.
I guess it will.
Throws a party. I'm so excited. I haven't seen him since then. I have been following what he has done in his kind of resurgence over the past 3 years. And I'm very excited. It's not like the, college age, Optimus Prime taking a poop kind of music that it was, over a decade ago. It's very different. It's much more mature now. He doesn't even look like the same guy. He's got a different haircut and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm so pumped. I do think that's going to be the biggest crowd. I saw people talking about that on the Reddit this week. That will definitely be the biggest crowd.
Yeah.
Now,
can I ask a dumb question?
There
That's
are no dumb questions.
Not related to Skrillex?
What?
Well, yes, it is related. I have two questions.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce his name? Is it Skrillex or I've also heard Skrillex?
Sonny.
Shut up. Stop.
Yeah, because like when Corey was on the show, he was saying Skrillex. I've always heard Skrillex. I don't know. He's a music business guy.
Well,
Maybe
yeah.
he knows something we don't. What was the other question?
The other question is, when did Kesha stop using the $?
Did she? I didn't know.
It's not on the poster with the $, or that's not somebody different, is it? No.
No. Maybe they just didn't have it in their font for like the Rue poster.
No, I don't think she uses the $sign anymore.
That is totally an SEO thing because Pink, the singer, does the same thing. She has an exclamation mark for the I. That's just so you can find them online better and they get better social traction and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good questions. Now, I did have something else I want to talk about. I wanted to go into what newbies may be looking for in their Christmas list this year. We did a whole episode on this last year. You can go back in our archives, but I want to revisit that for just a moment. But before we do that, we need to thank our Patreons, which once I can turn the darn computer on here. We want to thank everybody because like the Patreon has blown up in, the past year. In fact, I saw that we got a couple of new ones this past week.
Okay.
I guess in all the commotion of the lineup. By the way, once again, we want to thank everybody for tuning into the YouTube and subscribing to that. And more so to everyone for helping us out with the Patreon. You can find it at patreon.com/Rubus. And every penny goes to the Totem Foundation. You can find more about that at totemfnd.org. And we have a lot going on, but let's get through these names and then I'll tell you more about that.
Okay. Jordan, Alyssa, Imani, Bradley, Jared, Olivia, Claire, John, Lexi, Danny, Lisa, Butter Crew, Nick, Delaney, John with Texas Roo Crew, Brady, I Am Rave Dad, Courtney, Casey with Texas Roo Crew, Christy, Jums, David and Aurora, Stringbean, Zach and Jeremy, Amber, Andrea, JB, Sam, Austin, James, Hygiene Queen, Chris and Shy, Dan, Ernst, Harris, Keith, Casey, Nick, Maddie, Bruce, Andrew, Kent, Randy, Bosco, Eric and Ben, Evan, Chloe, and Sean.
Thank you, everyone. You are bringing in around $400 a month to the Totem Foundation. We can't thank you enough. None of it goes to me and Sharla, obviously. It goes to the Totem Foundation. It is funding a lot of scholarships for next year. It is funding like our overhead, all the supplies that we get for our scholars, so many different things. I did want to tell you about 2 events. We have a lot coming up, but I just want to tell you about 2 right now. So you're probably watching this on Wednesday the 10th. If you are in the New York area, Evan and Skylar and a lot of our crew are hosting that thing over in Jersey City tonight. If you're watching this on the 10th, go to the Totem socials for more details or just text and call Evan. Go bug him on our behalf.
Yes,
he'll be glad to hear from you.
It is a trivia event.
Yeah.
And the proceeds go to Totem. So we're very excited about that.
And there's free tequila, I hear. Evan talked about that on our little YouTube bonus thing. Yeah, is that going to get you up there? You going to fly up tomorrow?
Let me just see how much the flight would cost. I don't know.
There is a direct flight from Huntsville to New York now. I was looking into that today. But yeah, if you're watching this on the 10th, it's tonight. Ed and Mary's Jersey City. Go to the Totem social media pages for more information about that. And also, talked about this last week as well. December 27th, if you are in the Huntsville area, I hope to see you over at Straight to L in the Speakeasy. We were throwing one down. We're going to have some local Huntsville DJs. We're going to have a costume contest. We are putting a sign on the door with a QR code. There's a suggested donation of $20 to the Totem Foundation at the door, but it's not required. If you're hard up after the holidays, we totally understand. This is one of those like meet and greet, let people know about what we're up to kind of things, but also mostly to throw a holiday party for all our friends. I'm going to be transparent. We thought about having a New Year's party at our house, but we were like, let's just throw it over there as a Totem thing.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what happened.
I want to tell you guys about our 6 in 26 campaign.
Yeah.
So the first year that we ever had Totem, we did 2.5 scholarships. The second year, we were able to do 3. This year, we hope to do 6 full Bonnaroo scholarships. So that means 6 young adults who are from an underserved background and they want to work in the live music industry or they just want to make really cool event and community stuff happen at Bonnaroo. They can come through Totem.
Yeah. So check that out. And one last thing I'll remind everybody about. I promise that was cranberry juice, not wine, like we talked about before. Tell your friends who would be good candidates to go apply. So go to totemfnd.org. There is a link to the application on there. It's open for like another 2 months, right?
Yes, it closes at the end of February, so you still have some time. But during the Christmas break would be a great time for them to sit down and fill that out.
That's a good point. That's homework for all of you that watch us regularly. If you're going home over the holidays and you know somebody from around the ages of 21 to 25 who would be good candidates to be one of our scholarship recipients, get them that link. Make sure that they fill it out. Tell them it's going to take about a half hour to write the essay out or something like that. No more than that. Send that. We would love to hear from them and have them considered as one of our scholars for next year.
Absolutely.
Now, one last thing I want to talk about before we get out of here. Do you recommend all these young people get that they need if they're coming to their first Bonnaroo?
You know, I would absolutely look on Amazon Prime, look at the camping supplies that are going to be on sale for Christmas. And actually, if you go to any of our social media,
Oh, she has another
there
plug.
is a link in there so you can shop our Amazon storefront and help out Totem.
Yeah. She's always got a plug.
Honestly, from that, we only get like pennies on the dollar, but still, you can help out Totem by shopping our Amazon storefront. We've got cots on there. We've got hydration bags. We've got tents, coolers. We've got portable chargers. We've even got some cool stuff for your house on there.
So curated stuff from Sharla for your campsite. Now, what I would say is people who are coming to their first one probably already know the basics. You know, tent, easy up, little floor, cooler, stuff like that. What I would recommend if you're getting some gifts for somebody in your life for their first Bonnaroo are all the accessories. So like some cool tapestries that they can put to the side of their easy up, for example. They're going to regret it if they don't have that because that provides you some shade in the morning. So when you get there, find out what direction the sunrise is coming from, and that's when you want to put some big-ass tapestries on that side and clip them down both to the roof and to the side. That helps out a lot.
You know, something else, if you're looking at getting someone a gift, a portable charger is always great because you can never have too many portable chargers.
Yeah. If you are getting somebody a really nice present, something I would consider are those big banks. What was that brand that Lisa was talking about on the Discord recently?
Well, there's a couple different brands. There's a couple different popular brands. There's Anchor, and then there's Jackery also.
Jackery is the one that she recommended. I looked into that, and there are some that will give you enough power for your phone and some other accessories for pretty much all of Bonnaroo for around $150. I know that sounds a little pricey, but if you're doing this kind of thing continually, like at a lot of different festivals, or any other outdoor event, I think it's a nice thing to have.
Yeah, particularly if you're tent camping, because there's not really a lot of ways to charge things necessarily at Bonnaroo. So particularly if you're tent camping or plan to be tent camping in the future, definitely invest in one of those.
Something else I would recommend as a gift are fancy LED lights that will allow people to see well at night that you can put up at your campsite. So I'll give you an example. We have some lights in our backyard that are solar powered, and they're as big as a light bulb that you have inside the house. And if they get enough sunlight through the day, it lasts you pretty much all night if you need. Me and Brooklyn used one string of them at our campsite down at Halloween. And I wasn't getting the best light because there's a lot of trees in the campgrounds. I know you didn't see it, but we were in a pretty wooded area. But I was still getting enough power on the big solar panel for those lights that we had like, I don't know, 4 hours worth of lights. That's all we needed, really. I would just leave it on at night and it would, just die during the middle of the night, but we'd have enough the next day.
Those little yard lights that you get for like $1.25 at the Dollar Tree, a lot of people would take those and put them around their campsite, but don't try to take one into Centeroo.
Oh.
Because I tried, and one of the security personnel said, "That's one of them things from the yard."
Yes, it was. Well, the reason I did like that and said no, because I find that those are a little tricky because they inevitably get stepped on.
Oh, yes. You're right.
Now, if you could rig it to the top of your easy up, it's not the worst idea, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend sticking those in the ground because if you are in a high traffic area, like we often are.
Well, we are.
Yeah, people are going to trample over it. So you can't really do that. But I would still recommend finding some of those inexpensive solar powered LED lights for your campsite. The string of lights that I was talking about, I think is about like 15 or 20 bucks on Amazon. That would be a great little gift for somebody in your life that's going to their first Roo. You got anything else?
I would say a headlamp.
Yeah.
Because I wear a headlamp at every festival I go to that's at night. And what I will do, I won't necessarily wear it on my forehead. I will wear it, just string it around my neck like a necklace. And boom, you can see where you're going. And you don't have to worry about using your phone battery for a flashlight. You don't have to hold it, worry about it. It's just there. I
thought of one more. A fanny pack. If you got a newbie that's going with you, that's a great one because most people, you're going to have some sort of water backpack, but these days they got to be pretty small because they have those restrictions going through the gate. So a fanny pack is great to keep right on you where you know where it is. Nobody's taking anything from you. You got your wallet, phone in there, whatever it may be. Little trinkets that people pass out.
And to answer the question before it gets asked, unless it's changed for this year, fanny packs typically do not have to be clear for Bonnaroo.
No. I've never heard of that rule at any festival. I think we're clear there.
No, there are some festivals that are way, way, way stricter than Bonnaroo.
Well, that's stupid.
But yes, fanny packs at Bonnaroo do not have to be clear.
Yeah, so I guess that's our little mini list for this week. And again, you can find many of these things on Sharla's Amazon list if you want to throw a few pennies on the dollar to Totem's way, I suppose. Well, guys, this is a bit of a short episode this week. It was a marathon last week. We got more coming up. Like I said, we have the Christmas episode coming up before too long. And after many of them get done with their finals, we're going to have an episode hosted exclusively by our past Totem Scholarship recipients.
I'm excited for that.
And you was telling me you got something brewing up for the next month or so. Do you want to tease that a little?
Yes. So remember in the episode last week, I specifically asked Corey about user-generated content.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually thinking about a couple of Bonnaroovians from TikTok, and we're going to have them on and talk about first-timer tips, talk about everything you should do, everything you should not do, things like that. So definitely look for that.
I'm sorry, but when you talk about TikTok now, all I think about is Kesha. We're going to open up the pit for that song.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, we're about to go eat dinner. So thanks for hanging with us for this short episode. Like you just heard, we got a lot of fun stuff coming up. You know what? Get out there and radiate positivity. I'm ready to eat. We'll see you next week.
Bye.